Hey, what's up, everyone? Just hanging out here, making some dinner, and watching all the sort of post-Trump inauguration media that's floating around, and listening to a lot of the CBC, seeing a lot of posts on Facebook and stuff from varying perspectives. And I just want to offer what I think is a valuable piece to consider while we're all sort of adrift in this sea of information and this somewhat tempest of media and news around this event, which is that it is so much more complicated than Donald Trump. And as much as I totally stand behind the rallies that are denouncing him as president and the international protests and rallies that are going on to state essentially to state the I don't agree with this direction politically, socially, economically, etc., etc., and that there are a lot of things that are behind the Trump agenda which are deeply troubling for me. There's a lot of things, obviously, that he's saying that are deeply troubling in regards to what his rhetoric will and has created in the social atmosphere of the United States and what it will mean internationally. But the point to consider here is that Trump is not the problem. Trump is a symptom of a larger problem. And it's not just this election, it's not 2016, 2017. The very reason that Trump exists, the reason that this Trump as a symptom has emerged, is because of the political and social atmosphere that has been created by the same people that brought you Hillary Clinton and who is also a part of this whole Clinton movement. I mean, if there's anyone to blame for Trump, it's the Obama administration in a way. Not to blame Obama, but if what was being reflected as the way the United States now, like the just this is where the U.S. is now, like this is the right direction and all this stuff. If that were actually the case, then we wouldn't have Trump. We wouldn't have these large populations or aspects of the U.S. population feeling so disenfranchised that they reach for an authoritarian leader. I mean, furthermore, I mean, it wasn't even Obama that's the problem, right? Obama was also a symptom of a larger problem, which is just how corrupt and manipulated the entire political system is around the world, but especially in the United States, or at least most importantly in the United States, because they're a major world leader and they're represented as sort of like the picture of what direction we need to go. And if like I said, like if there's anything that caused Trump to rise to power, it was a sense of being disenfranchised and disillusioned with what the governments have been offering, the sort of role at play. I mean, not that Trump is all that different in the sense that it's like he's probably got some messed up secret agenda and he's likely being backed by some crazy, not crazy, but like highly influential secret government sort of people. But it is a change of regime and it's a change of style, right? People wanted something different and they wanted Bernie Sanders, but Hillary and the DNC conspired to manipulate the vote almost definitely, and blocked Bernie from getting in. So the only choice they had then was Hillary and Donald. And then all this stuff came out with the Podesta emails and all this talk about Russian hacking. And I even saw a post today about Donald Trump being like a Russian sleeper agent. I don't know. It's a sea of information out there. It's the Wild West of fake news. But this whole idea of trying to delegitimize Trump's rise to power by saying that the only reason it happened is because the government, it was being hacked by Russia, is a total sidestepping red herring. What about the stuff that the Podesta emails said? What about all the like legit criticisms that came out around Hillary? I'm not again. I don't actually think Trump is good. I think the movement towards Trump as president is good on the whole because just like he's not the cause of the problem, he's a symptom. The indigestion is not the problem. The indigestion is not the source of a problem. It's the symptom. And Trump is the indigestion, and rightly so. The whole world is starting to throw up and try to get it out, right? But we need to remember because the social political reality, the psychological like mass psychological basis that brought Trump to power is so big and so complex that it's easy to just rally behind anti-Trump. But it's not a matter of anti-Trump. And if we get rally behind that too much, it'll just be another big regime change, and nothing will ultimately change at all. We'll just be fed some other news media, etc. We won't look any deeper. We'll get what we asked for. The figurehead will be replaced with somebody that says all the right words, and nothing will, like, things won't really change in the sense that maybe they'll switch back to the same direction they were headed, which was a highly manipulative. Well, I mean, it's the same thing it's going to be now. It's this secret government control and the horrid extraction of resources, including human labor as well as natural resources from the planet, in order to forward some larger economic game that it just baffles me. It's at a level of complexity that just baffles me. I got really excited, a little ahead of myself there, but it's just important to remember it's just so much bigger than Trump. So when you're spreading anti-Trump or whatever, and we're watching the news and all this discussion about what's real news, what's fake news, you don't know what's real news. If anyone is like the biggest contributors to fake news, it has been the mainstream media. Even this whole Russia thing, even the whole fake news movement. Like, what a horrible, like, opportunistic reach to use censorship for what type of information is being offered around the world using the guise of fake news, and then putting the people who determine fake news, putting it in the hands of the people that most benefit off making you believe what they need you to believe in order to forward their political motives. I mean, it's just so big. That's my whole point here. And with all this, like, movements, like, let's continue to stand together, let's continue to push back against what we are seeing as the unavoidable social political reality that the path we have been on has created in this world, because it's emerging here in Canada too, with what, I can't remember the two people's names, because I've only just been getting I'm just going to look it up right now. I can't believe that you're just like, I don't know if you're still here. Yes, Kelly Litch, that's her name, and the other person's name is Kevin O'Leary. Like, this is emerging here in Canada too. It's emerging all over the world with Brexit. It's emerging, and what is it? It's a pushback against the ideals that what I personally sort of lean towards, which is like the liberal democratic left of center movement becoming usurped by larger political and economic, clandestine parties, and it having been used just like it has been used since prior to World War II, and as far back as, like, the very dawn of the United States, as means to propaganda and manipulate the minds of the people. And people aren't happy. There's a lot of good points that are being made by the people on the far right. There's a lot of great points being made by the people on the far left, but everyone's getting pushed into such extreme places that nobody's listening to each other, and then they're just latching on to this, like, these journalistic, like, oversimplified just statements, that, like, article titles, like 3-second, 10-second TV clips, audio clips, and they're rallying against that. And that's not going to make any change. I mean, we need to keep pushing against things that we don't agree with, for sure, but just remember that it's bigger than Trump, and the very people that you might accidentally think, oh, if things were just so much better when it was Obama, like, was it? Was it really? Because if it was, why are we in the Trump era now? Right? So that's my whole stick. Just think bigger and stay on the streets.